Hi guys, Heather Marco here. Thanks for subscribing to my channel and tuning in today. I want to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting. What is it? Is it something that you could incorporate day to day, and some of the health benefits that go along with it? So I've been practicing intermittent fasting for, a couple of months now. And there's numerous reasons why I like it and why I continue to do so. So if you're not familiar with intermittent fasting, it's really just an eating pattern where you have a window where you're fasting and then a window where you're consuming all of your calories. So typically people follow a 8-hour schedule. So they're fasting for 16 hours and then they have an 8-hour window where they're eating. And that's kind of a schedule that I try and stick to. Sometimes mine looks more like 15-9 than the 16-8. So, and really it's just a matter of finding out what works for you. If you're just getting started with intermittent fasting, I would recommend starting with a larger window of eating, and then just little by little you can shrink that up. So maybe you start off by fasting for 12 hours and then you have a 12-hour eating window where you're consuming your calories. So you might be wondering why someone would practice intermittent fasting or some of that health benefits that come along with it. So when you're fasting, your body actually changes its hormone levels in order to tap into those fat sources that you're storing, or it makes that body fat more accessible for your body to use as fuel. I should say that I'm not a doctor of any sort or a nutritionist. This is just based on research that I've done by myself and for myself and some experience that I've had with it. It says that there's lots of health benefits for your brain and your body that come along with intermittent fasting. You can see weight loss with it. It can protect against type 2 diabetes. It can protect against heart disease, cancer, and there's also studies out there that intermittent fasting helps people live longer. Quick story, which I think kind of reconfirms that living longer notion, and of course we don't have say over that ultimately, but there's a little old lady in my hometown, which is very small, and she just celebrated her birthday, and I can't remember the exact number now, but she's over 100 years old, and she attributes her health to not eating past 4 p.m. every day. So I thought that was kind of a cool tribute to intermittent fasting, basically, is what she's doing to help her health. All right, back to some of the health benefits that come along with intermittent fasting. So when you're fasting, it helps so that your body's insulin is not spiking every couple of hours. Also, fasting gives your body a chance to repair at the cellular level, so it's not having to work on digestion and processing the food that you're consuming, maybe 14, 16 hours a day. It also causes your HGH, or your human growth hormone, to rise. And that actually has benefits for fat loss and muscle gain. So that's another huge benefit to intermittent fasting. Typically, if you're intermittent fasting and you're just eating throughout an 8-hour window, you might naturally be consuming less calories than you would if you were eating over an extended period of time. So naturally, if you're consuming less calories each day and your calorie intake is less than your output, you're gonna lose weight that way as well. There are a few main reasons why I'm loving intermittent fasting and why I continue to do so. And that is, number one, it's honestly one less meal that I have to think about or prepare. So mornings can be busy. I just focus on getting the kids their breakfast and I don't have to worry about eating myself. And so yeah, it's just one less step in my day that I have to worry about. The second thing that I like about intermittent fasting is I actually feel that hunger sensation. So before I was a snacker, like from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, and so you never really feel hungry or know what that feels like. With intermittent fasting, I've been slowly extending that period of fasting, and so towards the end of it, I do feel hungry and my body's telling me that it's time to eat, so I do. then number 3, and maybe the most important part of intermittent fasting for me, is I'm a total nighttime snacker. So I just told my husband the other day, it's a total trigger for me to put the kids to bed and walk downstairs, and I have to walk through the kitchen in order to get back to the living room. Total trigger for me to grab something to eat. It's quiet, I don't have to share with anybody. And so if I'm practicing intermittent fasting, like usually they go to bed at 8 or 8:30, and that's when I'm usually cutting off my fast or starting my fast. And so it just eliminates me from snacking before I go to bed. Like I said before, I'm not an expert in this area or a doctor or nutritionist of any sort, so definitely recommend doing your own research, trying it out for yourself, and seeing if it's a good fit for you. Honestly, there's no dangers to it health-wise as long as you're well-nourished and healthy to start with. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. I like to share lots of tips and tricks with health and wellness and just being a mom in general. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. Bye.